Hi, this is John from caveofprogramming.com. In this tutorial we're going to look at a class called jdbc template, which is going to allow us to do queries in a very elegant way. So if we look at beans.xml now, we've got this org Apache Commons basic data source configured as a connection pool. So hopefully when we try to use it, it will connect to MySQL and with these parameters that we've supplied from this properties file. And we need to somehow pass this class to offers DAO here, because this class wants to do queries using that connection pool. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a private property of the type jdbc template, which let's call it just jdbc. And we haven't got that class available at the moment, and I need to include another maven dependency to bring in another Spring jar. So I'll click my pom.xml down here, and I'll make sure I've got an internet connection. Well, I know that I have actually, and I'll click the dependencies tab and click add, and let's type Spring framework. So it downloads the dependencies from the internet, or I assume it is doing. And if we scroll down to org.springframework here, we can find the Spring-jdbc dependency. There it is. Let's expand that and let's add the latest one that looks like it makes sense. So now we've got quite a few dependencies: the core, beans, context, javax.inject, which I think we're not actually using. It's just for the inject annotation, but I'm using auto-wired. We've got the database connector jar, Apache Commons DBCP, database connection pooling, and now we've got Spring JDBC. So let's save that and right-click the project and go to Maven, update project. And again, you need to be connected to the internet, but this is going to work pretty quickly for me because I've already downloaded that jar, so it's already in my Maven dependency. And I'll go to it's already in my Maven repository. Sorry. Let's go to offers DAO now and click that error, and now we should be able to import it. And you can check if that doesn't work, then check that you have got Spring JDBC in your Maven dependencies list here. And now I'm going to create a set method for that. So right click and go to source, generate getters and setters, expand this property and tick the set method. And in fact, I'm going to call this set data source. So I'll change this to set data source, and I'll change the type of thing that's passed to it to data source. So it didn't really save me much typing using the Eclipse shortcut there, but never mind. And let's just import data source from javax.sql. The reason I'm doing this is that I want to create in this set method a new jdbc template, and that's just I'm going to pass this data source to the constructor of it like that. So the jdbc template class just wraps the data source and provides us with all kinds of great methods that will use that data source behind the scenes. And where does the data source come from? Well, it comes from this dbcp Apache basic data source. So I just want to wire this bean into here, my offers DAO. And let's just do that using annotations. I could have found a way to set this up using annotations, I suppose, but being as I don't have access to the source code of this class, and I don't want to create a derived class just for the sake of it, it was easier to do it in XML. But here I'm going to say this is a component by adding the component annotation, and let's add the import for that. And I'm going to set the value of it here. In fact, no, I'm not. What I'll do is I'll just type auto-wired. There we go. And add the auto-wired import. So now finally we've got our offers DAO class that's set up to use a fully configured connection pool. And now in the next tutorial we can implement this and we can actually do a query. So until next time, happy coding.